Hi everybody, I'm Namika Sagara, I'm president of Ipsos Behavioral Science Center. So today I'm here to speak about how you can leverage behavioral science to predict how behavior is formed and if those behaviors are sick or not. But before we get started, I'd like to start with the two key premises. The first one is that before COVID-19, there was a status quo, meaning most of our behaviors are dictated by there's the status quo, meaning there's a lot of habitual behavior that we didn't have to consciously think to do or figure out how to do. But these days, it's a sequence of disruptive moments. A lot of behaviors we used to do are now either unable to do or very difficult to do. So we're at the place we really need to figure out how to do and what to do. Another key premises I would like to discuss is before behavioral science, one of the major ideas that we had is that this desire leads to behavior. With the behavioral science though, now we understand that behavior cues are essential. There needs to be something that trigger and connect the dots between the desire and behavior. So with these two key premises, let me introduce you habits framework. So this habits framework is created by Ipsos Behavioral Science Center based on years of academic research. This has three key components. One is cue, another is behavior, and another is reward. And let me walk you through this one. But yes, you can use this habits framework to understand how new behavior is created, how this can become a habitual behavior, and if those behaviors are going to last or not. So in terms of cues, there's many different factors that can serve as a cue for behaviors to happen. For example, there is contextual cues, psychological cue, and social, identities, and physical. And let me give you some examples. In terms of context cue, these days when you're in a crowded place, that might trigger you to think about you wearing mask or use hand sanitizer. Or it could be the psychological cue. When you're bored at home, you might automatically reach to your cell phone, your tablet, or TV remote. Or it could be social. Social sort of setting can cue you to act differently. You probably act differently when you're with your friends and family versus meeting new people. Or it could be the identities and roles. And speaking of identity, we can have multiple identities, but usually one of them is salient at a time. So when you're at home, your identity as caregiver or partner might be salient, which could cue you to behave differently while your most salient identity at work could be that you're a marketing professional, which can cue you to act differently as well. Of course, the physical state can trigger you to think about different behaviors. The physical state could be just hunger or just feeling tired. And those different cues can trigger different behaviors. And there's definitely a component of sort of opportunity for behaviors and barriers of behaviors. But today I would like to focus on the barriers. And behavior likely to happen and persist if there's a fewer and weaker barriers. For example, if you think about physical and ability barriers, let's use, let's say, this online platform to connect with your friends and family and coworkers, like Zoom and FaceTime. And the physical inability barrier could be that you don't have the software, or it could be that you don't have the fast internet to support the system. Or it could be the knowledge barrier. How do we download the software? Which softwares to download? How to sign up? How to put a payment information? And how to use it? Could it be that also the effort could be barriers of perceived effort, meaning the effort you think it's going to take. Again, it could be figuring out which app to use, also how to download and how to use those. Of course, there's an emotional motivation barrier as well. Even if you're able to, and if you know how to do so, it could be that you just kind of feel frustrated, or it could be that you are kind of have a sense of fear because what if you made a mistake, right? Financial could be definitely a barrier as well. Sometimes you have to pay for those softwares, or you have to pay to get a faster internet to support the video chat. So let's move on to different rewards. The rewards definitely, I think the key reward that we tend to focus is this function reward. Is basically the main purpose of the behavior. But there's a definitely different type of rewards as well. So let's use something like doing a puzzle at home, something that's a lot more people start to do in the United States as people are still experiencing some lockdown. So if you think about puzzles, the emotional rewards could be that it's fun and it's just the sense of achievement. I completed this puzzle. Social rewards could be that it's a way to have something to do with your kids and family. Or cognitive rewards. It's cognitively engaging to figure out how different pieces fit together. And it could be sensory. It could be that seeing different pieces fit together, seeing the picture being completed, and then all the bright color that you're playing with, and also the hand-eye coordination. And then when the pieces fit together, those can serve as a sensory rewards. And I really focus on rewards, positive rewards here, but there's definitely negative rewards that could happen, which I'll be speaking more later. So I walk you through briefly on cues and behaviors and rewards. And the more cues and the stronger cues they are, the behaviors are likely to happen and last. And in terms of behaviors too, behaviors are likely to happen and persist if there's a fewer and weaker barriers. In terms of rewards, the rewards that has definitely the positive rewards, as well as immediate rewards, are likely to last. Because if you think about different behaviors, some behavior has immediate rewards, such as drinking a refreshing beverage. But some behavior has sort of delayed rewards, such as exercise, that contribute to long-term health and wellness. But so those rewards that has positive, immediate, and multifaceted rewards are likely to lead to lasting behaviors. So I walk you through on this cue behavior reward, but let me give you another example. So let's think about using a grocery delivery app and to see how this behavior can emerge and if those are likely to last. So if you think about grocery delivery app, so basically you can use your app to order and have it delivered to your door instead of you going to a grocery store yourself. It's definitely becoming a trend in the United States, again, due to this COVID-19 lockdown and the kind of the fear that people have about going out. So what would be the initial cue? What could get people to really think about engaging in this behavior? Well, one is that psychological cue, right? Like, could be that I'm afraid to go out. I don't know what it's like to be in store these days. So it could be the fear and uncertainty. Or it could be that your identity of I'm a caregiver. I will I need to protect myself and my family. And that could trigger the behaviors, but of course there's different behavioral barriers that come into play. In terms of physical and ability, it could be that you don't have access to stores that delivers those food, or it could be the knowledge again, like how to download and use those apps, and then also the effort that it takes. And again, the emotion. What if, how do the general uncertainty and fear of making mistakes, and also the financial barrier is that generally, at least in the United States, it costs some money to have people deliver to your door. But then if you think about reward though, there's definitely a lot of positive reward. The functional reward is getting your food delivered to your house. The emotional reward could be that just satisfaction of seeing your fridge stocked with food. And then emotional is if this is one of your first time using mobile app to have your food delivered, I think that's a sense of like that enjoying that new achievement. It could be that social reward that because you didn't have to go out to grocery store, you have more time to spend time with your family. And there could be a cognitive reward of browsing through items. You can scroll down and see different items that you might have missed if you were to go to a brick and mortar store. So imagine that this consumer engaging this delivery app usage a couple of times, and as this consumer go through this sort of cues and behaviors and rewards, what likely to happen is there's going to be more and more cues. So even though the initial cue could be that it's the fear and uncertainty of going to store, the new cue could be that it becoming almost a social norm to use a delivery app versus going to a grocery store yourself. Or maybe there's some days that you just feel tired. There's a physical cue. I'm tired and busy. I don't have time to go to grocery store. Well, guess what? I actually can have it delivered, right? But then, of course, when it's the sort of the lockdown eases and when things started to open, that cues again could change, which could inhibit this behavior to stick longer. So what would be sort of the cues that hinder this activity? Well, it could be that again the social norm could change. Even though social norm right now may be that it's safer to order grocery online or use an app, it could be that in a couple months social norm changes that it's actually better to go, or the more people are actually going into grocery store. Or it could be something to do with identity. It could be that you feel like you want to do it yourself so that you feel like you're looking after your family better. It could be the physical cue of you just have to get out of your house at some point. Or it could be that some other cues related to sort of physical availability of maybe there's a new stores open that you wanted to actually go check it out in person, right? Also, in terms of behavior barrier too, it's possible that there would be more physical and ability barriers, meaning maybe there's less store that delivers in the future that would prevent people to use delivery app. It could be that the uncertainty, that the psychological barrier, the uncertainty because it's easier to pick something already packaged such as canned soup, but it's difficult to pick exactly what you want if it comes to fruits and vegetables, right? Or it could be that fear of missing out. I think, at least for now, it's easier to see the promotion happening, sales happening, or there's new products when you actually go into the store. And of course, the financial barrier could get larger. That you each time you're spending certain amount of money as a service fee and delivery fee, and eventually there could be emergence of negative rewards. It's that maybe there's in terms of function rewards, maybe the order gets wrong, that you didn't get what you ordered. It could be the psychological reward, emotional rewards, that you started to feel guilty that you're not doing your, but your chore, or that you're spending money to have somebody else to do, or just physically you just miss being there. So today I spent about 15 minutes walking you through on habits framework and how you can use this cue, behavior, and reward to really systematically understand what are the different cues that encourage behaviors to happen versus what are the cues that hinder those behaviors to happen, and what are the different behavior barriers. And of course, the reward is really essential in making this behavior more habitual. Obviously, the behavior that comes with many different positive rewards that are immediate are likely to last, but the behaviors that comes with negative rewards, for example, is less likely to last. So again, today I walk you through an Ipsos habits framework. I hope this was useful for you. Thank you so much.